Hey y'all, Serena Starlight Witch here. I hope everyone's doing well. I'm sorry that I look a little crazy. My hair is wild today, but my hair spell, it never fails me. So, I know I talk a lot about the scammers, but let's talk about the wannabe witches. This is mostly something you see on TikTok and Instagram. I mean, I do see it on YouTube sometimes. I do see it on Facebook sometimes. But these are mostly TikTok witches that you see that are wannabe witches. They're not real witches. They're aesthetic witches. You see it a lot in the younger practitioners. They're 20-year-olds, 18-year-olds, 21-year-olds, 22-year-olds, the 24 and 25-year-olds. I'm gonna tell you right now, witchcraft is not supposed to be overly pretty. That is a big red flag of someone who is just in it for the aesthetics. If they look a little too aesthetic, if they look a little too pretty, they look a little too perfect. Their aesthetics are perfect. Their altars are perfect. They have all these crystals and herbs and oils and all this crap. To me, that's a red flag. Most witchcraft that is effective is ugly. Most of it is ugly. A witch, a real practitioner, they don't have a lot of time to put into their looks, their hair, their makeup. I damn sure don't. I don't have a lot of time to put into aesthetics, and I also don't like wasting the money on aesthetics either. So I've noticed this is a big red flag that you're seeing a wannabe witch, is when she is very aesthetic. You see a lot on TikTok. These practitioners that look very witchy, very pretty. Oh, got all these pretty tattoos and makeup and hair and clothes and nails. They just, some of them even look like models, and then they got all these gorgeous altars and runes and crystals and herbs and yeah, those are just aesthetic witches. They got into it for the sake of aesthetics. They saw it on Pinterest and thought it looked pretty and cool, and they got into it. They have no real connection to, but they have no real connection to spirit. They have no real gifts or abilities. They have no real practice or study time or research time. They got in it for aesthetics and aesthetics only. They're Pinterest witches, literally. As I was saying, effective witchcraft is usually not pretty. It's messy. It's very messy. The herbs get messy, the dirts, the oils. But it's, at the end of the day, when I'm done casting, I look like a damn train wreck. My hair's messed up. I'm covered in oils and herbs. I ain't got time to put on all this nice clothes and makeup. That shit's gonna get fucked up anyways during the casting process because there's a lot of, blood, sweat, and tears and work and mess. Real witchcraft is messy. Yeah, I have aesthetics too. More on accident than on purpose. Because I like cute things sometimes. But I really don't like wasting money. But that is a big red flag that you're dealing with a wannabe witch, is when they have a lot of aesthetics. Their videos are very aesthetic, I ain't got time to make aesthetic videos. Okay, I ain't got time to edit. I ain't got time to do this and do that. A real practitioner, being honest with you, is not going to have time for aesthetics. It's not going to have time to make aesthetic videos. A real practitioner usually looks messy. Okay, their altars, are messy, from all the oils and herbs. A real practitioner ain't going to have time. They're not going to want to waste the money either on all these aesthetics. And a real practitioner is a working practitioner. Is more mess than appearance. I hope I'm explaining this right, but you see a lot of, in fact, most of the witches on TikTok are Pinterest witches. They got in it for the aesthetics. And they're just in it for the aesthetics, and they use the aesthetics to scam people, to make people think that they're powerful and legit and knowledgeable. I see it a lot on TikTok. A lot of really pretty girls with tattoos, half naked, making witchy content on TikTok. They show all these pretty altars and spell jars and statues. They make all these really pretty videos. They're just Pinterest witches. They use aesthetics to, make people think that they're legit. But yeah, they're using glamour magic. They're using their appearance and their aesthetics to make people think that they're legit. Honestly, those are the witches who are the most successful right now. The witches who aren't aesthetic, they don't get much business, much clientele. But the ones who are very pretty and very aesthetic, they're making plenty of money. Because people do judge a book by its cover. They look at a witch and like, oh, she's so pretty, she's so gorgeous, she's got all these aesthetics, all these jars, and they fall for it, and it makes them think that they're a powerful witch. I've said it before. The witches on TikTok are shit. I mean, they are. They're all look. They're all pretty. They're not. They don't have the skill though. It's like a model. Despite how beautiful a model is, what good is she if she can't walk in high heels and she's constantly falling and tripping on the stage? Falling off the sage and stuff. Like, she's all pretty but ain't got the skill. That's how a lot of these witches are on TikTok. They got the looks, they got the aesthetics, but they ain't got the skill. Especially these young witches. Like I've said before, learning witchcraft is like learning to become a brain surgeon. You can't be experienced enough at 21, 22, 23, 24 to be offering services. You just can't. Even if you've been practicing at 4 years old, you ain't got the time behind you to be a practitioner for hire. Anyway, I just want to talk to you guys about this because most of these witches on TikTok, they're wannabes. They're in it for aesthetics and only the aesthetics, and then they realize, hey, I can make money off of this, so they start selling services. Most of them who do have any knowledge whatsoever learned it from YouTube and a few books. They don't have no real connection with spirit. Okay, let me give you guys a story time, actually. Okay, for one, if you're a real practitioner, if you were born with that ability, with those gifts, with that connection to spirit, you're going to start practicing at like 12, 13, 14 years old. Most of these witches start practicing during COVID or after COVID in their late teens, but mostly early 20s. They're not legit. Let me tell you guys a story time. I started doing spells when I was about 14. It's been so long now. But I was putting love spells on a target. This was so dumb now thinking about it. But this person I was talking to, they were being an asshole, right? They were being an asshole talking to another girl, fucking me over, fucking the other girl over, just being an asshole. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to have to set this person straight. I'm going to have to get them in line. And I was like, let me do witchcraft on them. This came to my mind. And I kid you not, guys, I didn't read a single book, didn't Google a single damn thing. I somehow immediately knew what to do. I went to a Dollar Tree, got red candles, I got this, I got that. I just knew what to get. I knew what to do. I'm telling you, I did not research a single thing. Okay. I waited for the full moon, didn't Google the full moon. I just looked at it outside. And my chair's like rocking back and forth right now. Anyways, went outside, cast love spells on them under the full moon. Worked instantly. I had no idea what I was doing. I carved her name on the candles, enchanted the candles, blessed the candles, dripped the wax on the photo. You will love me. You do love me. You will submit. You do submit. You know, just doing a whole ass love spell. Didn't know shit. Didn't Google nothing. I just somehow, someway. You do some crazy shit like that. You don't even Google anything. You don't even ask. You just somehow know what to do. That's how you know you're a witch. And I'll tell you more about this story. Okay, so it worked. The love spell did work. But a few months go by and spells wear off over time. A few months went by. They started acting up again. Found out that they were basically cheating, talking to me and another girl. And I happened to see a picture of them on Facebook together and in a relationship. I was like, huh. Of course, I flip out and you know, start acting out. I told him it was over and I was done. He blew up my phone, even though he's dating this other girl. I cut him off for a few weeks, but you know, I was like, I decided I still wanted this person. So I was like, you know what, let me do a breakup spell. Again, didn't Google shit. Didn't Google nothing. I somehow knew what to do. Printed out a photo of them. I'm trying to remember what I did so long ago. Waited to the full moon, went outside under the full moon, ripped her paper in half, like with force, and I said, like, you're breaking up, separate. Used glass, put them in a jar, did all kinds of stuff. What ended up, and I actually would hex him as well. I was such a dumb teenager. Anyway, I ended up putting a hex on him. It was just it was like a knot hex, using knot magic. It wasn't nothing too serious. They ended up breaking up. And I didn't take him back immediately. You know, I let him fight for it a little bit. But we did end up getting back together. But I decided I wanted to torture him a little bit. You know, I wanted to put him through hell. And I accidentally put an intranquil spirit spell on this person. Yeah, that wasn't good. So I accidentally put an intranquil spirit spell on them. Oh, this was a time. So I did love spells on them again using Dollar Tree ingredients. Went outside and I basically said, any and all spirits that would like to help with this ritual, who would like to torture him for me, make him obsessed with me, yada, yada, yada. You know, I didn't leave no offerings or anything. I was like 14. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was 14, 15. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I did because I was naturally led to do this, but like I didn't do research. So to see the dangers of it. And like, I didn't even know what intranquil spirit was. You know, I don't know. I could feel the spirits around me. So I said, any and all spirits who would like to do this, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, it worked. You know, that person was blowing up my phone 24/7, not eating, not sleeping. Coming to my house, banging on my doors and my windows, getting on their knees, crying on their knees, begging for me. They were doing some insane things to the point where I was like, oh my God, what the hell have I done and how do I fix it? Because it was pretty bad. It was awful. Like I was 100,000% being stalked and harassed. It was great at first, but it got to the point where it was very bad. Because they were so obsessed with me. It was bad. When I say it was bad, it was bad. Just lived and breathed for me, and like, it was awful. It drove me insane. I was like, what did I do and how do I fix it? I did end up learning how to fix it, how to break it, how to remove it. I know how to do intranquil spirit spells now, but now I know how to do it in a safe and safer, more effective way. But I don't really believe in those spells. I think they're wrong, to be honest with you. I think it's wrong for the intranquil spirit. You should cross them over, not use them, and it's just wrong to torture or target like that. But I'm going to be honest with you. My beliefs have changed. They're different compared to what they were a few months ago. So honestly, I would be fine doing an intranquil spirit spell, honestly, because I know a lot of people want them done. But if I offer that, but I was saying, if I ever offer that as a service, it's going to be very expensive. But I will say, intranquil spirit spells do work, but they're very dangerous. Do not ever do that, guys. Do not try that at home. I'm telling you, you will F you up, yourself up, and your target up. Do not do that. Yes, it was great at first, but let me tell you, it was bad. Okay. Yeah. Now I know how to be more careful, but I mean, I was a teenager. I was like 14. So yeah, intranquil spirit spells work, love spells work, but you gotta be careful. You gotta be very careful. But yeah, guys, I started practicing the craft without doing an ounce of research, a second of research, without reading a book. I just knew what to do. And that's how you know when you're a witch. You're just born with it. You're literally a born witch. You've got it in your blood. You've got it in your soul. These witches on TikTok and these overly aesthetic witches, that's all they are. They're aesthetic witches. They're wannabes. They ain't got no power. They ain't got no connection to spirit. They ain't even got spirit with them. They ain't got the skill, the talent. They haven't put into time behind practicing or studying or researching. It's all about aesthetics and it's all about money, okay? There's one particular witch that I just cannot stand on TikTok. I feel the fakeness, like her energy, like I can just feel the energy of scam and fakeness coming off of her. She claims to be a Hecate devotee. I don't feel Hecate with her at all. I could just feel the fake energy coming off of her. But yeah, she's one of those aesthetic witches who's very pretty, has very pretty things. You know, you want to look out for the teamy witches. They buy all these shitty crystals and all these look, you gotta be careful where you buy your crystals from. Most people who sell them are selling, fake shit. Witches, they buy all these shitty crystals and all these shitty tools, and they buy all this shit off of Temu. And yeah, I buy decorations, from Temu or Dollar Tree. But usually my tools, I like to buy nicer tools. I prefer wood and glass and natural things. Not cheap shit. But yeah, that's another sign to look for a fake witch. But yeah, that's another way to that's another red flag when it comes to fake witches is the shit that they buy, the shit they waste their money on, buying crappy crystals from Temu. And um a real witch isn't going to waste her money on crappy supplies, on crappy tools. I'm just being honest. But I see it on Facebook a lot. Like there's certain groups that I'm in on Facebook, and I see people posting stuff on Temu. Ooh, is this worth the money? Should I buy this? Should I buy that? They just jump right into spending money on the shittiest tools and aesthetics and supplies. And I'm like, just save your money. Do research first. Study first. And a lot of that shit is a waste of money. I'm telling you, most things that people spend money on in the craft is for aesthetics. It's cheap shit. It's bullshit. And it's a waste of money. The one thing that I buy a lot that I don't think is a waste is herbs. Because herbs, literally, they're alive. They have spirits attached to them. They do make your spells work, so they're not a waste of money. But most things that witches buy are a waste of money. They, like I said, I see people on Facebook and Facebook groups, asking for advice. Should I buy this? Should I buy that? And I'm like, a witch shouldn't have to buy anything, to be honest with you. People are just so worried about buying books and buying pretty tarot decks and buying this, buying that. It's turned into a consumerism thing, honestly. Witchcraft has turned into aesthetics and consumerism. Most witches have no real connection to nature, to spirit. It's supposed to be a nature thing, a spirit thing, a gift thing. It's not supposed to be about buying shit, looking pretty, buying pretty stuff, especially buying cheap crystals off of Temu. Anyway, I'm just going on and on. But it's turned into an aesthetic thing. It's turned into a consumerism thing. Which is just wanting to buy all this stupid supplies that they wasting all these like I said, it's turned into an aesthetic thing and a consumerism thing. These young witches on TikTok are just wannabes. They're just aesthetic witches. They're not powerful. They're weak. Not all of them, of course. I'm not referring to every single one of them. The vast majority. The vast majority. As I was saying, it's the vast majority. And I talk about TikTok because TikTok's more popular than anything. Most people hire witches from TikTok, but it's Instagram too. There are more real practitioners on YouTube than anywhere else. You want to find a legit practitioner, that's the best place, is YouTube. And there's a lot of scammers who have websites too. You gotta be very careful. But yeah, these young witches on TikTok, they're just wannabe. They're weak. They're not gifted. They're not spiritual. They're in it for aesthetics, for looks, for money. I'm just being completely honest. It's the truth. So that's how I feel about it. They're COVID witches. They're Pinterest witches. They're not real practitioners. So most of them, anyways, the vast majority of them. Like I said, I've only seen maybe 2, maybe 3 real practitioners on TikTok, and I've noticed that they don't really post anymore. A little bit here and there. A lot of witches don't want to deal with the toxicness of TikTok anymore. But yeah, guys, be careful who you learn from, who you watch, who you buy services from. These witches out there nowadays are just wannabes. So do your research before you hire anyone, But these witches are going to keep being successful no matter what. Because people are, unfortunately, they're vulnerable and they're gullible. And they don't know any better. So all I can do is keep trying to speak out about it. So anyway, I love you guys. I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching. Bye.